Secretary of State John Kerry here defending that nuclear deal with Iran.
The national security of the United States is stronger under this First Step agreement than it was before. Israel's national security is stronger than it was the day before we entered into this agreement. And the Gulf and Middle East interests are more secure than they were the day before we entered this agreement.
Really? Well, his testimony coming just one day after Iran's foreign minister told Time magazine, quote, "The entire deal is dead. We do not like to negotiate under duress. And if Congress adopts sanctions, which they're threatening, it shows lack of seriousness and a lack of a desire to achieve a resolution on the part of the United States." So is the United States on the brink of another foreign policy disaster by the administration? Let's ask Colonel Alan West. Good morning to you.
It's a pleasure. Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. You don't like this administration deal with Iran?
No, it's absolutely horrible. And when you listen to what Secretary Kerry talked about, that's a delusional statement. First of all, the Saudis have said that this is bad, and they're looking at, working with Israel. The Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, said that this is a disaster of a deal. So I don't understand how he could say it improves the national security of the Gulf states of Israel, and definitely not ours.
Yeah.
You think about this. In October of this year, we remember the 30th anniversary of the Beirut bombing attack. And we know who was behind that Beirut bombing attack. It was the Iranians. And as a matter of fact, President Rouhani of Iran just put in place as the defense minister the person who planned and oversaw the execution of that attack. That's a General Degani.
Sure.
So why would you be talking to people that, are the person that was responsible for the death of 250 Marines to, talking about, and they have 3 Americans still.
Absolutely. And, with the pastor, that never even came up the table extraordinarily.
Absolutely.
But how many UN resolutions are there already out there where Iran's got to stop enriching completely, and yet part of the deal we're doing with the Iranians is go ahead and enrich, just don't have it cranked up to high.
Yes, we're saying, keep it to the low to moderate level. And the thing we have to understand, as long as they can continue to enrich that uranium, it does not mean that they have to have a nuclear warhead on a missile.
Right.
If you can put it in a briefcase, if you can put it in a bag and take it to a major urban economic center, that's a capability we don't want them to have. They have to dismantle that program.
It does seem like such a bad deal. It's bipartisan opposition on Capitol Hill, where they're going to come up with some new sanctions. But why is the president pushing this? Is it legacy? Is he already thinking, okay, Obamacare, I can scratch that off my bucket list of great things? Maybe Iran.
Well, I think that the president is looking for some foreign policy success. There is no doubt that the reset button with Russia has been a failure, and we see what is happening between Russia and the Ukraine.
Right.
There is no doubt that we see what is happening with Syria was a failure, and so now he's looking for some success.
Well, was this a failure yesterday at Nelson Mandela's memorial? He shook hands with Raul Castro, the dictator of Cuba. You're from Florida. There it is right there. Yeah. They exchange a couple of words. Your reaction?
The South Florida Cuban community is incensed. They are apoplectic about that, because if you're there to celebrate Nelson Mandela and this sense of freedom and remembering his time being in prison, why would you want to shake the hands of someone like Raul Castro as well as Robert Mugabe? And we know his record is not one that reflects the values of the United States of America.
Well, he had to do something when he wasn't taking a selfie. All right, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West.
Thanks so much for having me.
Sir. Great to have you as well.